Awesome. Um, so yeah, I was just touching base with Duncan. I saw some of the discussion happening on the Slack channel yesterday about questions about what to do with the code, and I think from what I saw, it looked like that was just perfectly fine, like using a placeholder for what was unsure and just kind of the runtime and communicating that. So yeah, that sounds good on that front. Do we want to jump right into Tomo's portion?
Yes, we can start with Tomo's code coverage discussion. Then we can discuss the AWS deployment strategy. And then Akshan and Mengdi also have some progress on the updates and feedback suggested by you guys. And the
Okay,
last one, they share that as well.
great. Sounds good.
Okay, let's get started from my side. So this is a high-level overview of the code coverage test result. So
Sorry, is the screen sharing working? Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Can you see the screen? Okay, cool. So this is a test result, test coverage result for overall of the files. So this consists of three main pages and 6 sub pages for analysis. So for example, so we have the home page here, and this is the home page. Sorry, the bottom of this table is a home page for home page file. So this is testing the home page for home page file, homepage.jsx file. So this test covers 100% lines according to this result. So the same as here, the home page, I covered the dashboard page. Here, my dashboard page. This is I mean, this is not the correct name. I guess summary. This could be analysis. Summary of analysis, or yeah, which means that it includes the analysis that was created by the admins. So for dashboard page, this is the last second part of this table. So also same as we have the analysis page. This is I'm saying about the top line of the table. Yeah, analysis page is that. It means the pages for each analysis we have. So we have analysis header, and also we have 6 sub pages for each analysis page, like overview tab and data tab, leaderboard tab, rules tab, submission tab, discussion tab. So we have I have written test cases for each sub pages here on the analysis page, analysis data, analysis discussion, analysis readable, overview, rules, and submission. So this is overall covering my test cases. And I'm sorry, I have to say apologize to this one test case left uncovered because I need to. Sorry, at this point, I need to ask to Duncan. Actually, I got stuck with this one single test case, so maybe I need to ask Duncan to how can I sorry, how can I cover this line in another meeting or another chance? So
if I recall, we had looked at a couple of those. There were some that were lines that we had that were placeholders for something that we were going to implement. And so because they were placeholders, we didn't actually have a way to test that until implementation of that feature was done.
Okay.
So I think that was, so that line 42 there, and 11, that looks familiar because I recall that we had that discussion, not the last time I was at CMU, but the time before that, when we were working through some of these.
Yeah, actually, this line 42 is for the file uploading function. So this is not the same function that I asked before. So this is a new problem here. Which is different from the problem we faced at CMU on CMU campus. I mean, sorry, does this make sense to you?
So the line 42, it wouldn't be line 42 on the test, it'd be line 42 off of the file. So if we look back at the test results, right?
Okay.
That is line 42 in analysis.jsx. So let's go
Yes,
to
right.
analysis.jsx.
So this is analysis. Sorry.
Yes.
This is not. This is test file.
Yes.
And this is the analysis.jsx file.
So it's up
on the
down
right
on
hand side, and 42 is the set file upload file function, which is called when we upload file. So this is actually here in the 180 line 180.
Yeah, so the only way to really test that is to put a file in for upload.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so unless you include like a dummy file to upload or something, you could even actually generate a file via code to upload. I do that for some projects. So that's something that we certainly, like, we're at the end now, so can't add that in, but that's what that would mean. We could just write a little bit of code to create a file for upload and just send that data stream straight into the file uploader handle change.
Yeah. So thanks for the advice. So
yeah.
So I should ask in detail for another meeting or another call or a chat. So
yeah, I can show you how to do that on another time, but let's focus in on just taking care of the technical stuff for this one, for the transfer.
Yeah. For this in this meeting?
No, not this. No, we're going to finish up the tech meeting this meeting, but going over how to do that, if we want to discuss that, we could set up a separate time next week that's just like a, hey, this is how I do this if you want to learn. Entirely separate from what we're doing. We're focusing on the tech transfer now.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's true. So thanks. So I continue the. So this line 42 could be solved. So when I asked in another meeting. So so this is about for the code coverage result in. I wrote test cases for this project. So the remaining task for this for writing test cases is so I didn't write test cases for the profile page, so which is added at the last minute of the project. So I couldn't write test cases for this page. This is the remaining task. So and also maybe so the code is updated by action very recently. So which is I need to get merged code with the actions code, and I need to check running the test cases for the updated page. Maybe this could be the remaining tasks for my side. So
yep.
This is
Yeah, that would be something we could add into essentially one of the to-do list items for after we get the project back.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So okay, so far this was the test case. Sorry, the result of the test cases in high level. So the code works. I will get started with code. I'm gonna go the code walkthrough for each pages. But so, for example, I have. So basically, the test cases for each page consists of mainly 3 parts. First part is rendering each component properly. Test each component properly, rendering properly. And the second part is to selecting each tabs. So which I explained if in this analysis. See, yeah, for in each analysis space we have 6 subpages and 6 tabs. So selecting tabs is one of the functions we need to test here. So test for selecting tabs is second part of the right case. And then after that, I wrote test cases for the test function of the buttons or other functions for the each page, each tabs. So for example, we have this. This is the analysis test case. Rendering analysis page here, and the heading of the analysis page is proper rendered. Test. I wrote test cases for that should be rendered all elements correctly. So in this page, we have heading here. So I'm testing here the heading part of this page, and also this is analysis page. In this analysis page, we have the tabs for readable. So select readable and then show the upload algorithm button properly. So this is a readable page and upload algorithm button here. So when press the button, check if this screen was shown on this page properly. So I'm testing this. So here in this part, and also after the button was pressed. Sorry, this part is showing the upload algorithm screen when the button was pressed to test. So the next test is for the. So after opening the screen for the upload algorithm, we need to close the screen for the upload algorithm. So when I press the cancel button, and the screen should be closed when the button pressed. So this is the test for that function. So, and for discussion page, we have some edit and reply button. Yeah, so the test each function.
Yeah, so we've essentially got our tests for pretty much each functionality of our different web pages.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. So for our testing strategy, for all of our tests, do we have them organized into a general? So it looks like our organization strategy is we are keeping each of our tests in each of the sections that they apply to. So looks like for our under the analysis, like where we've got analysis.jsx, any test that should go for analysis, it looks like we have those right next to each other to make sure that, like, if we want to keep our testing consistent, we
Mhm.
keep the tests with the files that should be tested.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Alrighty. What other additional elements should we be checking for testing? We've got all of our different page coverages. We've seen our different coverage reports. We've got our general organization testing strategy. If I recall, when we run the Jest test, it searches for everything that has the test.js. Anything else? So all we are currently doing right now is all the different unit style tests for our web page generation. I don't think we have anything for any integration tests, correct? So nothing with Puppeteer or anything like that yet currently, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so yeah, that's the code for before the integrating front end, back end side.
Yeah, these are just testing just the front end.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so things that we will need are integration and our backend test suites to develop and implement. Okay, cool. So that gives a good picture for future work there. Somewhere around here, I need to pull up my notes again so I can write that down. So part 2. Let's see. Let me put in our line 42. We need to add code to simulate upload file, and we need to add unit tests for backend. But our front end testing is actually looking really, really good. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Anything else that you have to cover for our front end? Something that's not along the lines of what we've already talked about. Oh, right. We also need to add tests for the profile page.
Yeah, should, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all. I think that's all from my side.
Cool. Let's see. We are utilizing Jest. Do we utilize any other additional resources for testing? Because I do see a lot of use of our testing library from React.
Yeah, testing library, React testing library. Yeah, I'm using here.
Do you have Jest installed globally?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I see it's using Jest there. Surprised we don't have to do an import, because I see you've got commented the Jest environment. I'm just used to having to import it. If we don't have to import it, that's even cooler. No, we don't need to go through the because I know we've got the node modules there. I'm just seeing like you've got jest.spy on running online like 27. And then
Yeah.
I'm looking up at the imports. And so we're able to run that without importing it, which is something I'm not necessarily used to. Then since we got to use Jest to call for the tests anyways, I'm thinking that just might be an upgrade to Jest itself.
Sorry, I'm not sure why this is working.
Yeah. No, I think we're fine.
Anything else? Okay, cool. Okay, so should we move on to the next agenda?
Yes.
Yeah, we can start with the AWS.
Thank you,
view.
Tomo.
Thank you.
All right, so let's take a look at our AWS environment. And on that same note, Mengdi, did you get my message this morning where I found the actual issue for why you couldn't do the EC2 creation?
Yeah, so have you fixed that?
Yeah, so it seems that part of what happens is that when the key got discovered, AWS tagged on a policy that blocks all access to everything. And I didn't see that until I started digging through the permissions. And so I got rid of that tacked on policy, and you should be able to make things now again.
Okay, okay, thanks. I will try that later. So we will go through again about our CI/CD pipeline.
Sure, let's look at our CI/CD.
Sorry, it's not there.
Then after that, we'll look at our current AWS setup.
Yeah, so in the CI/CD pipeline script, we just I comment this part for the VPC, so we just use our existing VPC. So I comment all of the VPC things, and we will create a new IAM
Right,
role
so
for our. Sorry.
Before diving into this, so it looks like we're in our CloudFormation template.yaml file.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's part of how that's the CloudFormation code hook system to call this file, and that's what allows AWS to do all this, correct?
It will be uploaded to the CloudFormation console in our AWS console.
Okay.
And the CloudFormation will deploy all the resources.
Cool. So which part are we using to set up this hook? Before we even get into the meat of the file, how are we accessing and using this file? Where is that starting from? Can we look at that? Like where is it a setting in AWS that lets AWS hook into our repo, or do we have a setting in the repo that we then connect to somewhere on AWS? Where is that connection set that's using this file?
We need to upload to AWS console manually. So we need to it's not is when we create a new formation, create a stack, so we can upload a template file here.
Okay, so that part is currently manual. So currently manually uploading template. And it's uploading the template, you're essentially using that same file that's from the GitHub repository, right? Currently?
Yeah, yes.
So that's something that can be automated later. Okay, cool. Thank you. Now we can go back to the file. Now that I know that that's where the process is at, I know what needs to be done from there.
Yeah, so after we upload the template file, so the AWS Cloud Formation will deploy all the resources for us. So basically, we are deploying IAM role for our web application and GitHub IAM role to connect to our GitHub repo. And our web application here is with the auto scaling group and some security group. And I also comment the S3 buckets. So I have created S3 buckets in advance manually. So we don't need to create a new bucket every time.
Okay, so let's hold on right here. I want to look back at our security group. So we are using the ALB security group, allow access to ALB from the internet from port 8080 using TCP CIDR EP. Hold on. So what is precisely that doing? So that ALB security group that we've got, is that supposed to be for our internal security group access, or is this supposed to be for public access?
I just copied the default setting here. So maybe if we want to make it internal, maybe we can set the IP address here. So make some just make some allow the IP from our front end.
Okay. So we might need to do a little bit more work on customization on some of these to make sure we're fully encapsulated where we need to be. So this is mostly defaults. Got it. Okay. So then let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, it's just IAM role for the code deploy.
Okay.
Yeah, and launch config for our auto scaling group.
See that code deploy role, allow resource sub on AWS partition code deploy. It looks like AWS code deploy role, STS assume role. So this is, well, since this is all being uploaded straight to AWS, that's fine. And it's not actually containing any information that would be too particularly helpful to anyone on the outside anyways. All right. So now to the next part.
Is the auto scaling group.
Oh, user data. So this has a list of commands I am seeing here.
Yes, we need to install some packages such as the AWS command.
Okay, so essentially with the web app launch config here, that we can set up a set of base, essentially shell commands that will automatically run when it launches the application. So if we needed to do some prep, we would do it here. Run. Container on startup. Perfect. Cool. Alrighty. Got that.
So the other scaling group will launch instance based on this launch config. And we also have a load balancer.
Cool.
And that's all. So we will have some outputs here so we can get some information.
All right. That all looks good. So there's going to be some more customization needed, but overall it's still working pretty well. And we were able to use it to get our current deployed prototype. So all we need to do is a bit more customization for security. And other than that, looks pretty good. Cool. Cool.
Okay, so I think that is from my side. Okay, do you still want to see the scripts here?
Let's take a look at the scripts and then we can
Yeah.
take a look. We can go into AWS and then take a look at where all our resources are at. 'Cause I know we've got some of the EC2s and some of the other stuff. We can go and take a look at all the stuff that gets deployed by our template.
Okay, so these are the hooks function. So it will be called when we spin up a new EC2 instance. Yeah, so before install, we just have some preparation work. And after install, we will install some libraries we need. We first copy our code from our S3 bucket and then install some libraries here. And
Okay,
then we will.
so that part there is essentially, let's see here. So we are copying from the S3 our Insight pipeline bucket deploy.zip. And then we've got our validation hub there. So deploy.zip, is that essentially a packaged up version of our validation hub GitHub repo, or what is
It's
that?
in our GitHub action. It will generate a package.
Okay, so
yeah, when we trigger our GitHub actions, it will package our code into a zip file and upload to our S3 bucket.
at that point, couldn't we just do a git clone of our repo? Or is there a specific reason for that one?
Yeah, we can do it. I just follow the
Or is that supposed to be
follow
pulling for the front end? Because if we're doing the packaging of the front end, that's what the example that I showed before was, where because the front end needs to essentially be built, and the example I showed was where we use GitHub Actions to build the front end and then upload that to S3. So if this is a built of the front end, then that's totally fine.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I just follow an example of the Java application. So maybe in their example, they need to build their code and package in a file, in a zip file and upload. I just follow their example. So maybe we can directly git clone in our EC2 instance if the repo is public.
And from my understanding, I mean, we currently do have our repo public. So
yeah,
that is all right. That's something to take a bit more of a look into. Okay.
So we need to look at some resource in our console.
Okay. Cool. Was there anything else on the script side that we need to look at, or are we gonna?
And we start just start the server.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so that is all the things to automate the deployment.
All right. So then with that, let's take a look at AWS itself. Where are resources, what we've got?
Yeah, maybe we can first check.
And Bennett, Mike, you haven't had any questions so far, or following along good, or?
Yeah, no real questions so far. Yeah, sounding okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so we have two IC buckets. The first is for the pipeline bucket. Is just we hold our deployed zip file. So it has a deployed zip file here in our
Okay.
pipeline bucket, and our application bucket is for our non-circle database. It has two sub directories, one for the analysis evaluation scripts and one for the submission files.
Okay.
Yeah, and in that we have the analysis underscore analysis ID.zip file.
And as we add analysis to the database, it will automatically add one to essentially the ID, and then we'll add that same analysis to this S3 for
Yes.
storage. Got it. Yep.
Yes.
That's what we discussed, I think, on Wednesday. Cool. And then submission files will be the algorithms that are submitted for evaluation, correct?
Yes. And any other resources we need to check?
Let's take a look over at what our EC2 structure looks like.
EC2. EC2, we have a dev instance, and others are the worker. So we have a tag here. So we have the analysis ID.
Okay. And so
yeah.
that's based off of what we discussed on Wednesday, and that's part of what we were looking to update to the containerization with our round 2 when we start
Yes.
working on this. Okay. All right. And then let's see. Anything else of concern? And then the hub dev, that is the current the web page. So if we went to the public IP of the hub dev EC2, that's what will show us that's our currently accessible online page. We don't have a domain name for, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so let me put a note in because we're going to want to register a domain name with our current station hub dev EC2 address. Cool. All right. So we've looked at there. And so if we look under security, we're not going to probably see any too much, but let's pop over to our security tab for our EC2 here. And so this is just going to be utilizing. So they do have the security group rules. We're probably going to need to investigate that a bit more. I'd probably want to get with Mayank on it because I know he's a lot better with some of those parts. I know I want to get them right. So that's probably what's going to need some work and updating, but we do have the rules for each of these. And so those rules, from what I understand, is where we would be able to set up different of our permissions and access rights to say, it's like, hey, you know, for port 8080, that is an access point, but only if you meet the conditions within the rule. And so that's the only part we're gonna, well, that's one of the parts we're going to dig into there, but that's what those are for. So that way, if you're gonna have to be working on that for future projects, that's what you're gonna want to dig into to get to the next level. We are currently all running micros. What is our storage for each of these? Are they running off of default? Did we have any custom storage settings?
I think I just extend a little bit
Okay.
because we almost ran out of the storage. So I think the default would be 8 GB.
Let's see. So I think the only time they start actually increasing charge for storage is past 30. So probably would want to upgrade these up to 30 just to be safe.
Yeah.
Because they don't do any extra charge up to 30. So that's all just standard from what I understand. What about the workers? Are those all also running 16s or?
I think it's default.
Ooh, those we're going to want to up to, yeah. Because if we got lots of algorithms processing, we start getting larger data sets running through things. These sizes might start running into some challenges.
Yeah, definitely. And to launch the worker, I have a launch template here.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can just modify this template.
Yeah, these templates are the basis of that's essentially the core of like what I was talking about before, is that when you need a new instance, it will spin it up and create it off of the template.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
Yeah, but the functionality of our worker is different from what we want.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's we're very close to the right track. I can actually see that there. So that's cool. All right. All right. So we've looked at our security groups. I've essentially granted you guys all the roles. Did you have to make any new roles during the process of this, or are you currently running off of all of the default given roles?
do you mean the IAM roles?
Yeah, did you have to make any IAM roles or make any adjustments there to set up permissions or rights to be able to build anything? Because I know I granted a bunch of user roles. I don't know if you guys had to make any or delegate anything to the application processes.
I think we only deploy new IAM roles in the cloud formation template.
Okay, so it's all following based off of that. So you didn't have to manually make any roles to attach.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then I don't think I've got anything else. The database, actually, that would be the last thing. Can we pop over
the RDS database?
Yes. Is our database also running off of a micro?
I'm not very familiar because it's deployed by Action. so maybe Action can.
Yes, it's using micro.
How large does that make our database at a micro?
Not very. We can't make it much larger than 8 GB. So
okay. Can we see what our max storage is for the database? Or does that not have a how does the storage for this guy set up?
I forgot how much I kept.
Where to check it?
No, I forgot about. Let me just go.
Got our data-
Maybe you can share your screen, actually.
I mean, I don't know where. No, let me just. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I want to make sure that our storage is going to be good for our database, because depending on how much stuff gets added, that's something like that might need to grow. Free
Is
storage,
here.
20,000 megabytes. So that's 20 gigs. Okay. I think databases shouldn't be too hard to expand when needed. So 20 gigs should be fine, especially for an RDS. It would take a long time to start filling up a lot of that. I just want to make sure we're not sitting on something really tiny. So, all right. And I think the micro is actually more for processing power than storage. But since we're not looking at having thousands of users just yet, we might not need to worry about upgrading from micro to higher. So we should still be fine for a while for our development anyways. So actually that should all be good. Cool. Cool. All right, then with that one, Bennett or Mike, anything you want to check into? I think we've covered most of our main topics here. So unless there's anything you guys want some extra clarification from the students on, I'm passing it back to you.
Thanks, Duncan. I think if you're copacetic and feeling good about it, then I'm feeling good too. I don't have any extra questions at this time.
All right. So then when do we want to do, are we going to try and then do the handoff today for the tech, or are we going to try and actually like pass over final repo stuff? Like, I mean, we technically already own everything in the repo. So I guess it's just when because I think you guys were saying that you're going to merge everything over and have all of the branches merged in, and that you were connecting all of that, correct?
So I have the front end and the back end completely merged. Well, except for the test case, everything is merged on PBS 18.
Okay. So
yeah.
is there anything else that needs to be merged together? I want to make sure everything can be packaged so that way we can actually move it all up to the main branch. And we can have our version 0.0.01.
So so the test cases needs to be merged. I think that's
Okay.
that'll need to be worked.
Cool. All right, so I guess that's the only thing that I really have as an expectation to be waiting on. With that, I would say that would be a solid wrap for the project.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Do we also want to share the fixes we did, Akshan and Mehdi?
Yeah, I can start. Yeah, so if you can see, this is the entire leaderboard table that you can see now, which you can filter based on the value, like if it's greater than, we can use greater than 4. Okay, 4 is, let me just, everything is 4. This is all random value because it's placeholder. Now it's different. So when we sorted it, it's like this. And we have filter, which is like, we can use greater than symbol and we can use 20 and only one will be short. So this is the filters that is being used. You can even filter the columns that you want and reduce whatever you want to or not. You don't need.
Nice.
And then you can even export it as an Excel file.
That's great.
Yeah, so this is the entire filter thing. And I have left data requirement and metrics because I was not sure what exactly to put in onto it. So
Yep, that's totally fair. As a placeholder is fine. I think Mike, myself, and the rest of the PV Insight team probably still need to clarify that. In fact, exactly what we're putting there. Yeah,
and
probably
from here
something categorical, but we're not sure yet. Yeah.
And from here, you can go to the profile page of the test account that has created this. And if you go back to the submission page, you have a link for the details of the submission that this person has created. To go for that, you again go to the submission page from there. So these are the
Great.
changes that we talked about.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that looks great. Very cool. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great work all around.
Thank you.
And so
Okay.
confirming it's 6 p.m. tonight, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
For us, it's at 3:30, and it's in like 1 hour for us in Pittsburgh.
The Pittsburgh one.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that virtual as well, or is that's just
No,
an
we have to
in-person thing?
go. We have to go to the college.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, good luck with your expo coming up shortly, and then I'll see the folks here in California this evening at 6 p.m.
Is the Pittsburgh one the one I have on my calendar? Because I've got one that says at 3:30.
That was really confusing to me. Dave sent that out. He actually just deleted it off the calendars, I think, because he was confused. So Dave thought it was 3:30 and put it all on our calendars at 3:30. But Heidi just shared the correct information on our Slack channel.
Okay, I need to update my calendar.
Yeah.
I was playing. It's like, all right, so let's see. I got to catch the 209 train, get down to CMU. I'll be there with like 10 minutes to spare.
Yeah. I also got a little confused about what my schedule was going to be this afternoon. So cool. Great. I will go ahead and upload this recording to the normal location. Shruti, I think you manage that location, right? Where all those recordings are being uploaded to?
Yes. I think Duncan, have access to those recordings.
We do too. I just wanted to confirm that we'd continue to have access to it in the, or do we need to mirror that to our own
What
drive?
we can do is, along with all the documentation which we'll be delivering you next week, we can add a link to those recordings as well over there itself.
Okay. Yeah, as long as it's fine to host them like in your drive, right? As long as that's not going to be a problem.
Just reshare the link, and then I think just for being extra cautious, I'll just make sure to download a copy as well of everything.
Okay. Thanks, Duncan. Cool. Then I'll get this uploaded right now, and yeah, thanks again, everyone. I actually really enjoyed working with you all, and really appreciate all the work that you guys put into this. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks from our end too. You guys were really supportive.
Yeah,
it was great working. See you guys in the evening then.
Cool.
Has
Looking
been a
forward to it.
pleasure. Congratulations on your work on this project. See you this evening.
Yeah, see you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.